Diddy has been described by the people in the courtroom as super engaged, nodding along to the jurors that he likes, laughing at their jokes. We had an interesting moment where a reporter from Fox 5 said that Diddy turned around and she's pregnant and that he mouthed to her, "How are you?" So he's putting on the charm.
He's obviously a very charismatic person. He has been a celebrity for a very long time. He knows how to ingratiate himself with people. I don't know that it's necessarily a put on. I think that's just how he is, and he's just maybe being himself. He definitely wants to build rapport. He wants them to see him as another human being who is in a tough situation. And I think, look, he should rely on the charisma that has, served him well for many, many years.
I think that's part of his plan.
Shoot, I'd be super engaged too if I was looking at life in prison. There's a saying that goes, the devil is charming, but evil. As a matter of fact, most narcissists are extremely charming. They develop this skill as a manipulation tactic. The signs were there all along with Diddy, but we didn't catch it because it was masqueraded behind his success, wealth, and power.
Why'd you move to LA?
Oh, for the kids.
Diddy, come on out.
Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, where we hanging out and what we doing. It's definitely a 15-year-old's dream.
And giving everybody a life, man, this is an unbelievable thing, man. Like everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah. Y'all know y'all gonna have to turn up tonight, right? All right, now. Ain't no party like a Diddy party. Y'all know how y'all was doing it back in '64.
Where you going? Run all the way back to LA. Get that out from me. I am black.
Diddy, come on out. That is an actual threat. Bro, the kids are running the wrong way. Now, to all you guys who don't know what's going on, let's get you guys all caught up and let me give you guys a recap.
On September 16, 2024, music mogul Sean Diddy Combs was arrested in New York City and charged with racketeering, trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation to engage in relations for money. Prosecutors allege Diddy ran a criminal enterprise involving forced labor, kidnapping, and bribery. At the center of it all are so-called freak-offs, orchestrated erotic activities where Diddy allegedly directed men and women in X-rated performances. Many were said to be unknowingly filmed and blackmailed. Purportedly, victims, some underage, were controlled using threats, violence, narcotics, and money. Raids on Diddy's homes uncovered videos, firearms, and curiously, over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. Combs denies all charges, but if convicted, faces up to life in prison.
We are committed to bringing justice to everyone who's been victimized by the defendant.
I hit rock bottom.
1,000 baby oil bottles? And the diddler still couldn't slip away from the feds. Look, they need to get everyone involved, not just him. We all know this was not the action of just one man.
So I was in the courtroom where this trial is taking place, and I was sitting right behind Cassie Ventura's husband, and I watched him as he sort of glared at Sean Combs at times, at the family, especially during the period of time where the prosecution showed photos of 13 men, different races, predominantly black men. These are all men that Cassie was able to identify in terms of names sometimes and where these freak-offs, these alleged freak-offs took place from cities like LA, Miami, New York, Las Vegas, etc. I can only imagine how painful it must be to sit there and listen to that testimony regarding your wife and the number of people that she says she had sex with because of these freak-offs. Something else worth noting is that Ventura continues to say this was all about what Sean Combs wanted. So today she mentioned that she said she primarily reached out to the escorts, but says that was her job and Combs expected her to do so. We'll, of course, have more with the testimony that's still happening right now inside federal court.
I think we are all well past allegedly. Now let's dive deeper into this topic. Now let me show you guys this next clip. Comment down below, what did you guys notice?
Is there anything that you may want to confess tonight before you go in?
I keep everything right here.
There you go.
Or right here.
Yeah. You angelic all the time.
Now, did you guys notice the way Diddy stared her down? The diddler didn't take his eyes off her once. He was silently threatening her. The word confess scared the living hell out of him. He can't even hide his nervousness. Now, guys, let's look at all the evidence that took place. Myron, take it away.
They'd walk into the room and they would start she would start gooning, and then the guy would start gooning. And as she was gooning to herself, she would describe the guy gooning to Diddy. So Diddy would be in a corner watching them both goon, and she would describe the guy gooning, okay, which was a little bit strange. And she admitted that this felt weird to her, but she did it because she loved Diddy, and she felt humiliated. Then they would start putting oil on each other and touching each other. They would do this until Diddy said, stop, or you guys can start moving on. Then that led to oral for both of them, and then they would go on to full-on. After the escort either finishes in her or on her, and he doesn't wear a condom. Then Diddy and Cassie go into the room, and she would take the semen and put it on his chest. Yes, I know. She would put it on his chest. She would want him to put it on his chest or his nipples.
On his chest?
On
like
his chest
Diddy's.
or his nipples. Diddy's chest or his nipples. The semen.
Rubbing another man's man chowder on your chest is next level crazy. And just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, then there's this.
Cassie said Diddy made her do freak-offs with a freaking UTI and sores all on her tongue and all in her mouth, y'all. Yes, she said they had a 4-day freak-off that lasted for hours each day, to the point to where when the freak-off was over with, her mouth was filled with so many sores, her vagina was burning. She said her vagina was burning during some of the days of the freak-off, y'all. She said she had to sit there and endure that on top of having a UTI, sores in your mouth. She also was on her cycle. Imagine being on your cycle, having a UTI, you know what I'm saying, doing all this shit, and your man just wants you to get hunched on by several different men. Y'all, and let's not even talk about how it was 12 different male prostitutes. 12. Yes, 12. From different cities. They were flown the fuck in, or flown to them, or wherever. Like, he had a real obsession with seeing her get plowed by other men, and he didn't care what type of position she was in. Like, even the one prostitute said she took too long to come in a room, and he beat the hell out of her so bad that his penis wouldn't even get hard for her no more because he couldn't believe that he just seen that. That don't sound crazy to y'all?
Get the rocks. Yeah. Abdul? Yeah, get the rocks. Get the rocks.
I think it's probably one of the...
Hennessy, come out and play.
Hennessy has officially left the group chat. I bet you the diddler is having the time of his life in prison right now. And did anyone else notice that every single one of those bottles doesn't have a seal on it? I know they are laced up with that Diddy juice. This should be shown in his court case. This genuinely terrified me. And the crazy thing is, they are actually a lot of powerful people that are involved with the Diddy freak-offs. Take a look.
Diddy parties.
Diddy once threw a party on a jet flying around the world. Now, it started on a Tuesday and somehow ended on the previous Sunday. I don't know how he did that.
Now that I'm engaged, I've decided to slow down a little. 3 Diddy parties a week. Maybe 4. Not including the weekends.
Boy, I remember one day we went to this Diddy party. Well, what happened? Lil Jon forgot his pimp cup. Yep. D-Rock went to Diddy and asked if he had a pimp cup Lil Jon can borrow. And he had a whole bunch of pimp cups. He had a pimp set.
It's hard to say which is more off the hook. A Diddy party or a Diddy after party. Or a Diddy after party, which is basically a pre-party for the next
I was in the courtroom as Cassie was testifying, so let me tell you guys everything that you didn't see or may have not heard, because it's a lot. I will say the most damning part of her testimony for me is when she describes a freak-off where Diddy and another man, an escort, are standing on top of her while she is laying on the floor high off of ecstasy, and they are urinating on her face to the point where she is choking on their pee. And to further give context, on the right-hand side of the court seated is her husband, Alex Fine. On the left-hand side, Diddy's 6 out of 7 kids are sitting in the courtroom as Cassie is describing having weekly freak-offs for years that would last 2, 3, one lasted up to 4 days. She talked about damaging hotel rooms so bad in one instance that they had to pay such a hefty fee because the hotel told them that they needed to completely redecorate the room after a freak-off. After a freak-off, there would be blood, urine, and lots of baby oil. There was so much baby oil. There was also so much baby oil talk to the point where the judge at one point told prosecutors, wrap it up. But before we even got there, a very pregnant Cassie was called to the stand. She was wearing a tight brown turtleneck dress that was hugging her baby bump. When she sat down, you could tell she was nervous. And if you couldn't, you quickly picked up on it because once she started talking, you noticed that she paused a lot. She would sigh heavily before she answered a question. One of those moments was when she explained to the court that a year into their relationship, that Diddy had approached her with this fantasy that he had. He called it voyeurism, where he wanted to see her have sex with another man, later referred to as freak-offs. She said her stomach dropped. She was 22 years old. She described herself as very naive and a people pleaser. She said the only reason that she agreed to it is because she knew it would make him happy and she was afraid what would happen if she said no. That's also around the time, she says, that he started to get abusive. Most of her testimony today was spent on talking about these freak-offs, the different escorts that they would use, the different hotels that they would use. She said that she would find escorts off of Craigslist and this escort service called Cowboys for Angels. And to describe them, they weren't the most attractive men, right? They were very average looking. Some of them weren't even conventionally attractive. One thing they had in common is most of them were black because Diddy preferred for her black men with a big D, she said. At one point, Cassie broke down in tears when the prosecutor asked her, why didn't you leave? If the freak-offs, as you explained, were so disgusting and humiliating, why not leave? And she started crying and said that she was very deeply in love and this was the only alone time that she could get with Diddy. And it got to a point where this was kind of the only emotional connection that she was getting from this man that she was dating. So much more that I'll cover in another video, including his incessant phone calls, him tracking her down with his security, and her never being able to escape him.
I absolutely hate the fact that Cassie has to revisit all this trauma again while she's pregnant. She's an absolute soldier for getting on that stand. Hopefully the truth will come to light and we will get justice for all those who were affected by this tragic incident. Guys, comment down below what you guys think. And on that note, that's it for today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.